slightly away from the 6th row. We did see in top qualifying car 30, which is the Valkenhorst Aston Martin, it's full of bronze drivers, so it was never going to participate very strongly, but it got through thanks to an NLS qualifying session and therefore was permitted to run top qualifying. They actually moved out of the way of the Ferrari, if you remember, to allow the Ferrari not to be impeded, and it ran some 10 odd seconds slower. An 8:38, in fact, was their time in top qualifying. So what's that? 26 seconds slower than this man, Kevin Estre. That's really going to be a cork in the bottle. That row number 6, because there are lots of faster cars then behind them that didn't get through into top qualifying, but perhaps have the pace. And certainly if you look one row back with the 37 Aston of Bachmann, Palette and Bastien, and then the Ford Mustang, the first of the Ford Mustangs, the number 64, their time, an 8:14 and an 8:15, is 10 seconds a lap faster than the row ahead of them.
Also, I wonder how far the BMW is going to get, because that's had a bit of a weight break in the latest revision of balance of performance. And BMW number 98, that's the only Beamer in SP9, and we'll have Augusto Farfus plugged in for the opening stint. So he starts on the inside of row 9. The 64 Mustang, there are 3 fantastically presented Ford Mustangs from the Haupt racing team here this year. Arjun Maini doing the opening stint from 14th on the grid. But the instruction now being sent to all of the cars as they head up the hill from Antonius Bucher into Tiergarten to get 2 abreast in readiness for this rolling start. It's the 53rd edition of the ADAC Ravenol 24 hours of the Nürburgring in beautiful conditions, if anything a little too hot. And how are these opening set of tyres going to fare then over a 6 or 7 lap stint for Thomas Preining and David Perel alongside him? Porsche, we certainly expected to be there or thereabouts on the front row. The Ferrari's a bit of a surprise entity from Realized Kondo Racing. Can it mix it then with the other big German manufacturers? There's only one way to find out, as one of the Mustangs already dives into pit lane, but we are underway for the 2025 running of the 24 hours of the Nürburgring, and it is a good getaway from the lights going out for Thomas Preining. Further back, 4 and maybe 5 abreast of all of these SP9 cars, just being kicked up as well by the number 48 Porsche of Black Falcon. And this is the pinch point. Are they all going to be able to get around the tyre stack into turn 2 at the Yokohama S, as the Porsche, the Grello colours of 911, wriggles free? Down the inside there was nearly the Mercedes of Adam Christodoulou in its 2-tone pink, trying to force Marco Mappelli out of the way in the 28 Lamborghini. But there has been a change for second position. Bilstein Mercedes, Maro Engel up to second place already, boys.
Yeah, they've been keeping their powder dry, Mercedes, and I think they're going to see a lot quicker lap times from those cars and a lot more race performance from the Mercedes. Engel knew that his mission was to get onto the tail of that Grello Porsche of Preining, and he has done that. Mission statement completed. The rest of the field through the Vidal chicane, and for the first time we're about to through the Schumacher S, we're about to complete the first lap of this race on the Grand Prix track and about to go on to the Nordschleife for the very first time. How long will it be before we get inside of traffic? I think by about lap 2 usually, isn't it? And then forevermore we are going to be pressured into making those moves past the slower classes.
Looks as though it's actually the 5th position Lamborghini of Marco Mappelli that is just a little bit slower than Sven Muller in the Falcon Motorsports Porsche ahead. So the gap between those two, but then behind the Lamborghini is just a big long queue of cars. And the first one directly is Christodoulou. And the Grand Prix circuit offers lots of opportunities for overtaking in SP9. But once you get onto the Nürburgring, you really need to have a big pace advantage to be able to make a move stick.
So, take a breath. The leading pack, those 27 cars in Start Group 1, are heading onto the Hatsan back and for Hocheichen and Flugplatz. But whilst all that is unfolding at a different part of the racetrack, this is the second start group. a couple of minutes behind. Remember, their race time only begins as the red lights are extinguished and they go across the control line. But it's Tobias Muller in the 948 Porsche. All of these Porsches at the front end of Group 2 are from what's known as Cup 2. They're Porsche Carrera Cup cars running on a Michelin-controlled tyre, and the 948 is the 48 Loesch Motorsport by Black Falcon car. But Patrick Grutter is going to have to say in this as well, as Alexander Hart in the 900 and the 918 entry for Nick Zalewski. So down towards the Yokohama S they go. Nick Zalewski in the blue and white colours of Mühlner Motorsport, and I reckon it's Nick squeezing into second position already. In amongst all of these, though, the SP10 cars, which by any other name are the GT4s from the SRO style of racing. GT4 not an FIA category, strictly speaking, but does run regularly in the Stefan Rattel organisation championships. Manuel Lauk is in a TCR car, so they all get a chance to start in the second group as well. But unsurprisingly, it's the Cup 2 Porsches at the head of the order, and Tobias Muller leading them into the Goodyear hairpin.
It always looks utter chaos, doesn't it, the opening lap of any motor race? But from the driver's perspective, all you've got to focus on is a car alongside you, in front of you and behind. So it's a little bit less frenetic than it looks from where we sit, as this, what looks like a Cup class, a Cup 2 class, a 992 class, I should say, is what this class looks like. And I think, as ever, the sort of racing that we cover all over Europe and the world, indeed, the 992 class for me is one of the, if not the most competitive classes that we look at, and we'll keep an eye on just how this one progresses. 60
cars in Group 2, so an absolutely full amount leaving the grid there, and there's a similar amount coming in Group 3 as well. Tom Coronel starting the Max Cruz Racing Cup 2 car, the 927. He also is driving in an alternative fuel car for Max Cruz, but don't get that confused, because that car is also in that lead group in the 644, but it's being driven by one of the other drivers. So you have Philip Hamprecht also in the RPM going through shot, the bright green machine that is Tracy Crone's team. And they didn't get very much practice in, but it's great to see them out there. They've also got a second car they're running, which is at 778. But no problems so far for our leading competitors. And we still have green flag running all the way around the Nordschleife.
So just to refresh what I was talking about, Nick Zalewski, he is part of that team in 918, but it's actually Tim Scheerbart who's wasted no time at all in getting into second place. Scheerbart is a regular podium finisher, and if not a winner in the Cup 2 division for Belgian squad Mühlner Motorsport. So Scheerbart's going to be pushing Tobias Muller all the way on this opening lap within Cup 2, but also involved Dominic Fugel in the 644 alternatively fueled Max Cruiser Racing Porsche. But let's find another sheet which gives us the full list in start Group 3.
A sheet, Johnny, that has been headed up by a Subaru WRX and a Golf GTI TCR. That's your front row. Look at the second row. We've got a Volkswagen Beetle RSR. There it is, the white car there. And alongside it, the BMW M240i, the Racing Cup. That's in a class of its own. Here we go then, Group 3, about to take their green flag.
And there's an argument to say that actually the Subaru Technica Motorsport WRX is actually in the class of its own as well, because it did an 8.56 in qualifying. Compare that to Oleg Kvitka's car, which was about, 40 seconds slower. But it is put into Group 3, and it will start to edge away into a significant lead. The challenge now for Carlo Van Dam in the Japanese car is, can he actually get the tail enders in Group 2 by about 2 or 3 laps in?
A bit of contact in the midfield there as it got very, very crowded into that first chicane. A couple of BMWs, couldn't identify them exactly, but hopefully not too much damage caused. It was quite a hit, but they continue on their way.
On board with one of two Toyota Yaris GR machines built in Japan, brought over to be run here at the Nürburgring 24 hours for the president of the Toyota Motor Company, known on our timing screens as Morizo, his son, Mr. Toyoda's son, is also part of that team. He's got two Super GT Toyota Works drivers alongside them as well. They have two cars. They are the only two in that category, and they're all the same drivers. So two opportunities for all the drivers. If one goes, then they've still got another one to play with, but they are racing each other.
So again, a driver change for the 88 Subaru. It's actually Sasaki who's been put in for the opening stint within that. 3-2-1, still trying to identify the opening driver in the Goroyan RT by Sharkey Racing VW Golf, which is the leading or the pole sitter in SP3T. But already, after nearly a full lap of the 25.3 kilometre Nordschleife and the Grand Prix track, the race leaders heading back towards our viewpoint and the start-finish line. So Thomas Preining left us as the race leader, with Mauro Engel trying to hunt him down, and we'll get a new order as they cross. But it's going to be interesting to monitor not only the progress of the 27 Lamborghini of Danny Juncadella, who started 27th, remember, but also this car, Augusto Farfus, in the BMW of Rover Racing. But Thomas Preining will lead the opening lap of the ADAC Ravenol 24 hours of the Nürburgring. We've already had 8.5 minutes, of course, of the race, so long it takes to do the opening stanza. And the BMW trying to and outbrake the 48 Porsche into the Yokohama S. No opportunity to get alongside. So Farfus playing the patient game.
133 cars have taken the start. We had 141 on the entry list. We dropped down to 140 early doors, but only ever saw 136 in practice, and 133 have started. So we know about the 16. That was confirmed by the team, but a couple of other cars unable to take the start.
Across the line in 10th place, then the 98, that's the only BMW in the SP9 class that's holding the flag for the BMW mark, the Rover Racing car, Farfus. We were in car with him for a short while there through the Tiergarten, weren't we? It'll be interesting to see what progress that car will make over the course of this race, and it'll be quite a fairy tale if that car can get up there and into contention. It's a big ask, because all those cars ahead of it, the BMWs, the Mercedes, the Porsches, of course, it's going to be a big ask for BMW to get in amongst those Porsches and Mercedes, I think.
But what I will say, as a huge positive, it started 17th and it's now 10th. So Farfus has overtaken 7 cars on the opening lap. He only needs to do that a couple more times and he'll be leading the whole race.
It's going to get harder as he gets through the field, though, Johnny. That's
generally
my
the thing.
point. Yeah.
Yes.